Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to define for you what is an inverted lesson as well as give you some examples in each of your subject areas. So another way of saying inverted teaching is flipping the lesson. So what this means in comparison with a traditional lesson is this. We're going to be comparing apples to oranges here a little bit. So in a traditional lesson, the teacher lectures during the class, and then after the class the teacher would assign homework to apply what the student has learned in the class. So it could be homework problems or writing assignment. And basically, this is where most of us are sages on the stage. Okay, so I think with a lot of our Class Connect sessions, this is how it goes. We put up a presentation, present information to students, and then go ask them to go complete their OLS lesson or, some homework assignment for us. However, an inverted lesson is where the teacher assigns a lecture as homework before the class even starts. So the students get some information before the actual Class Connect session. And then during the Class Connect session, the teacher works with the students to see if they can apply that information from the lecture, or from the video, or whatever the teacher sends out before the session on actual homework problems or writing assignments. And so this goes to that idea of guide on the side. So I want to give you some examples here, so maybe you can see the difference between the two ways of teaching. So in a traditional lesson for an English class, you might lecture about literary devices, and then for homework, you would ask students to go maybe to their OLS, pick a poem, and point out all of the literary devices that was used in that poem. Okay, or were used in that poem. But for an inverted lesson, before the Class Connect session even starts, I would present a video that defines several literary devices that a poet can use. Then during class, together we would look at pointing out and identifying those devices in that poem together. Okay, so an example here for science is that in a Class Connect session, you would lecture about the water cycle. And then for homework, you would ask the students to maybe fill out a water cycle chart with the correct vocabulary. But an inverted lesson would be that you would send out maybe a document that explains the water cycle even before the Class Connect session starts. And then during class, students would fill in the chart together. Maybe you want to put them in breakout rooms, and you can kind of circulate around, answer questions, and see how they're applying that, that information from that document. An example for math is maybe for a traditional lesson is during your Class Connect session, you might present information about order of operations, then ask students to go to their OLS and complete whatever problems are assigned for that lesson. But for an inverted lesson, you might assign students to look through a PowerPoint presentation on order of operations before they even come to class. And then during class, maybe you work on a couple problems together and then ask students to do some on their own at the end of class, and you can kind of circulate around and help answer their questions. And then finally, for a history session, a traditional lesson would be that during a Class Connect session, you might give a lecture on the different causes for the Great Depression, and then, maybe ask students to go to their OLS and find a writing assignment to write a paragraph about the Great Depression. Okay. But an inverted lesson would look like this. You would assign students maybe to view a YouTube video or any other video that you've created or that you found on the different causes of the Great Depression. So then when they come into class, together you could write the paragraph to show what caused the Great Depression. So I hope this gives you a good idea about the difference between a traditional lesson and an inverted lesson, and you have some ideas on how you might want to try this out in your own Class Connect session.